So I honestly don't know why this phone exists. Infinix has some other phones with similar specs, but it does, and I have it here in my hands. So let's take a look at this entry-level smartphone from Infinix and see what it has to offer. I'd also be giving this device away to one lucky subscriber in the next 3 weeks, so stay tuned to learn how you can enter for this giveaway. Everything you'll be hearing in this video is my opinion on the Infinix Hot 9 and isn't influenced by any brand or any corporation. I have an obligation to say the truth, and that obligation is to you, the viewer. So let's dive in and take a look at the Infinix Hot 9. For context, this phone falls on the same level as the Samsung Galaxy A11, the Xiaomi S12, and the Tecno Spark 5. In the box, we have the usual suspects. At the top, we have the Infinix Hot 9, and it's quite big and had a heft to it immediately I picked it up. We'll get to this later. In the next compartment, there's a SIM ejector tool, a transparent rubber case, a screen protector, and an X Club pamphlet. I wonder why the cheaper phones are the ones that include cases and screen protectors and the more expensive phones don't. Moving on, at the bottom of the box we have a 10-watt charger, a micro USB to USB-A data charging cable, and finally a pair of earphones. So picking up the Hot 9 again, you can immediately feel that heft. You've got some brief specifications on the top sticker. So this phone has a 6.6-inch HD Plus display, a 5000 mAh battery, quad rear cameras, and DTS audio processing. Let's take the stickers off and do a quick run through of the physical features on the Infinix Hot 9. There's a punch hole in the screen to the top left corner, housing that selfie camera. Volume and power buttons are to the right of the device, and I like how the surrounding area around the power button is recessed. You'd find a SIM tray to the left of the device. This SIM tray has dedicated slots for 2 nano SIMs and a micro SD card. There's nothing at the top of the phone, and at the bottom you find the array of speaker grill, micro USB ports, a mic hole, and an earphone port. Finally, there's a recessed fingerprint reader at the rear of the device. Now, trying out the buttons on the Hot 9, they feel tactile and you can literally hear them every time you click on them. I'll leave the full specifications of the Hot 9 on the screen so you can pause and go through as you wish. After setting up this device, there were things I immediately wanted to try, things I know that you use on the daily, and these things are the fingerprint reader and facial unlock. Since we have a physical fingerprint reader here, it always unlocks the phone really fast with your finger naturally resting at that position. Getting into your phone using this method is always accurate and seamless. The face unlock, however, wasn't as good. You definitely need sufficient lighting to use face unlock in getting into your phone. Results using this method was a mixed bag, and I wasn't quite satisfied with the performance of the face unlock here. For software and performance, the Hot 9 has XOS 6.0 based on Android 10 out of the box. It's the typical XOS we've known from years past. You have the usuals here: system-wide dark mode, gesture navigation. There's a lot of customization, but again, the bloatware here is unforgivable. I hope the team at Infinix sees this video and at least does something about this part. Lose that bloatware. They're too much, and truth be told, Nigerians don't use most of these apps you force on them. I know I don't, so please do something about that bloatware. But how does this software perform with the included octa-core Mediatek Helio A25 processor paired with 3 gigs of RAM? Well, it's average. The Helio A25 was specifically made for entry-level Android phones, and that's what you get here: entry-level performance. You get occasional stutters when navigating the system. Some apps take a bit long to load. Network connectivity is 4G bands and below. Video recording output is capped at 1080p at 30 frames per second. So the good thing here is that this chip is power efficient, so you can be rest assured that it's going to save you some battery life. But does it? Well, yes, it does. In fact, the combination of the 720p screen, the 5000 mAh battery, and the Helio A25 chip gives this device stellar battery life, and it's really hard to beat. I typically get about 6 hours of screen on time on average and an almost 2-day use on this device, which should be more than enough for anyone looking for a phone with great battery life. For the screen on this device, the display on this device is a 720p IPS LCD display. Decent for what it is, but I must say that I can't unsee the irregularities on the rounded corners on this display. I think Infinix could have taken more time for quality control on this device. Those rounded corners at the top of the screen are very unsightly in my opinion. And in relation to the camera cutout, you can just see how asymmetric it looks. I've tried to unsee it, but it's stuck in my head. Every time I pick up the phone, I see it. That aside, the video quality here is average at best. You're capped at 720p. Those 720p videos actually look okay. The color representation looks very good in my opinion, and viewing angles were actually good. In terms of the screen brightness, it's very okay when you use it indoors, but you definitely struggle to make out text when you're reading under direct sunlight. Let's talk about the cameras. Now, talking about the cameras, one of the first questions you may want to ask is, does the Helio A25 help the Hot 9 take great photos? So picture quality from a smartphone has many factors to it that would make it turn out great. The processor, 1, the camera sensor, 2, the supporting software optimization, and more. If you've seen my video on the Gionee S12, that phone has the same chip found here and it took above average photos. But is it the same results here? If you want good looking and balanced photos from this phone, then you need a lot of light, preferably daylight. All the photos I took in well-lit room and daylight turned out great. The colors were balanced, details and photo clarity were above par, and I was generally satisfied with the results so far. But take this phone into a low light scene and you have a completely different story. The photos become really grainy and it becomes a challenge to get a good photo out of these cameras. Again, disclaimer, this phone uses an entry-level chip and there are limitations to what this chip can do to make low light photography better. But overall, you should know that this is an entry-level smartphone and don't get your hopes up for incredible photos from this phone. Now, in conclusion, I've had this device for about a week now, and given this isn't enough time to give a full review on this device, but everything you've heard on this video are from my 1 week of use. This phone will cost you about 53,000 naira, but if you do some extra digging, you may find it for less. If I were to sum it all up and at this time give a rating to the Infinix Hot 9, I would call this phone a 5 out of 10. And these are my reasons. The price seems reasonable for the device. The battery life on the phone was great, and above average battery life. And for an entry-level phone, the build is quite impressive. Some of the cons and the things I do not like about the phone, it's number 1, the curves on those screen. I mean the corners on the screen. It's just absolutely unsightly. That's 1. Number 2 is the fact that we are still stuck with a micro USB charging port on this phone. And I think it's time Infinix started doing away with the micro USB ports. It's already 2020. We're almost at the end of 2020. So guys, do something about it. So I said I was going to give away the phone, the Infinix Hot 9, to one lucky subscriber. So all you have to do is go to the description of this video and click that link and follow all the instructions. If you have any question on the Infinix Hot 9, you can leave them down in the comment section of this video and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Again, if you're not yet subscribed, do hit that subscribe button and follow me on social media. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.